Hi, let's talk about section 4.6, which is orders of magnitude. And what this is it's a way to compare sizes of things. So if I want to know if something is bigger than something else, I would say, well, how much bigger is it? And I can use these orders of magnitude in order to describe that. So there are three different ways of talking about how much bigger or smaller something is than something else. One is by just talking about a factor. So if I said, oh, that thing is 100 times the size of something else. Like I say, oh, I don't know, something like that building is 100 times the size of that car or something like that. Then I can describe it as a factor, and that's pretty straightforward. It's 100 times bigger. But I could also talk about the order of magnitude, and it's just a different way of describing this number 100. So the order of magnitude would be 2, and the 2 comes from the number of zeros that there are after the 1 here, okay? So, but the other way that I could describe that is using exponents, and it would be 10 to the 2 power. So in other words, if you typed in 10 to the 2 power into your calculator, you'll get 100. And the 2 power tells me that that's 2 zeros after the 1, and we call that 2 the exponent or the order of magnitude. So let's look at problem number 1. And mine says if a grain of sand decreased in volume by 7 orders of magnitude, by what factor would its volume decrease? So they give me the 7 for the order of magnitude. What would be the factor? Well, it would be the number 1 with 7 zeros after it. So 10 million would be my answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Incidentally, this would be 10 to the 7th power. If you were to type that into your calculator, you would get this answer. This is not the format that they want the answer in, but I just want to make that comparison for you. Okay, let's look at question number 2. Number 2 on mine says, if the moon grew by a factor of 100, by how many orders of magnitude would it grow? So if it grows by a factor of 100, then the order of magnitude would be 2. So 2 would be my answer for that question. Let's look at number 3. So 3 says if a number decreases by 7.5 orders of magnitude, then by what factor does it decrease? So they're giving me orders of magnitude, which is this. They want me to put it back into factors. Well, if it had been a whole number, I would have done, 2 zeros or 7 zeros, but 7.5 zeros doesn't make sense. So we want to use exponential form in order to get this answer. So what is 10 to the 7.5 power? I would type in on my calculator 10 raised to the 7.5 equals, and then they want me to round my answer to the nearest whole. So I get a really big number, 316,22777 is my answer for that. Okay, and this is why I talked about order of magnitude in relation to how it looks as an exponent. Because if you have a question like this, you can't just write 7.5 zeros. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so let's look at question 4. Question 4 on mine says if a star increases its luminosity by 1.3 orders of magnitude, 1.3 orders of magnitude, by what factor does its luminosity increase? So again, if my order of magnitude is a decimal, I can't just write 1.3 zeros. That doesn't make sense. So I'm going to use my exponents. So I'll do 10 to the 1.3 power So 10 raised to the 1.3 equals 19.9. They want me to round it to the nearest whole number, so I get 20 for that one. All right, let's look at number 5. 5 has, in space there are objects of all sizes, ranging from hydrogen atoms to planets larger than the Earth. An object in space is 1 billion, is what mine has. Yours might be a different number. Times the mass of a basketball. By how many orders of magnitude do the objects differ? So they gave me the factor 1 billion. They're asking for the orders of magnitude. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my answer will be 9. The mass of the object, because it's this much bigger, it's going to be greater by 9 orders of magnitude. So not too bad. Now the last two questions are the most difficult ones, just because it's hard to kind of understand what they're saying. They're story problems, which are typically a little more challenging anyways for most people. So let's look at number 6. On mine it says, the decibel scale is used to measure sound intensity. A change of 10 decibels, so 10 decibels, and they're giving us these relationships. So 10 decibels means that the sound is 10 times more intense. 10 more intense. All right, then they say a change of 20 decibels is 100 times more intense. So what we're to do with that is try to figure out what the pattern is. So 10 gave me 1 0, 20 gave me 2 zeros. Okay, so I'm going to use this pattern to answer the question. It says if one sound has an intensity of 20 decibels and another sound has an intensity of 50, how many orders of magnitude more intense is the second sound than the first? So in terms of decimals, this one is 30 more decibels, which according to my pattern, a 30 would be 3 zeros. And they're asking me to give it in terms of order of magnitude. So right now I've just discovered that it's 1,000 times more. That's a factor. They want the order of magnitude, so it must be 3. So I think that's a little bit tricky, but once you kind of see how it goes, I don't think it's too difficult. Okay, last question, number 7. I think this is the most difficult one to set up. And mine says a planet in a solar system far away has 2 moons. So I have a planet and I have a moon and a moon. One is smaller than the planet by a factor of 10 million for mine, and the other is larger than the first moon by 4 orders of magnitude. So this one is smaller than this by a factor of 10 million, and this one is bigger than that one by 4 orders of magnitude. Okay? 4 orders of magnitude is the same as 4 zeros. All right, and what they're asking is, by what factor is the larger moon smaller than the planet? So they're asking about this relationship. So if the planet is 10 million more than that, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 orders of magnitude bigger than that one, and this one is 4 orders of magnitude bigger than that one, then the difference would be 3 orders of magnitude, because 7 minus 4 is 3. But they're asking not for the order of magnitude, but the corresponding factor. So 3 orders of magnitude would be 1,000. So my answer in this question would be 1,000. And that's it. Thank you.